I don't know.
Guess
These are
what? We
just
got a draft, so we will take our
awesome.
Shakespeare lessons to the grave, and we will go into Gale Force Esports and King of Blades. That's just their name. It's King of Blades Esports. We're not saying Esports. King of Blades, just like the Queen of Blades, but it's the King of Blades. So
Right.
final thoughts. Thank you so much, Stormlords, there into the chat. First pick, first ban for Accursed Hollow. It's hard to say that GFE won't ban Tirana, but what will King of Blades actually prioritize here? Zagara, Sylvanas for the split push. I don't think Falstead's a first ban material. Muradin, perhaps.
I agree. Thrall, Murden,
Kale.
Zagara, Kale. Kael'thas was the next one. Any one of those, really. And we'll probably see a Tyrande ban here. So Cursed Hollow is the battleground where if either one of these teams has an Abathur player, they can build a strategy around Abathur. And we've seen in the past what Abathur can happen. It can just be the slow, frustrating death by split push where teams never commit to any sort of bad team fight. They just keep lanes pushed in, open up the map to allow Abathur to go to the adjacent lanes and just get keeps, get towers. And it can be a very, very frustrating experience if you aren't very aggressive, right? But we'll see as the draft develops here. We see Zagara first pick up here. Again, Zagara is that lane bully. She gives great presence in the early game. Obviously, Devouring Maw is a great secondary sort of initiation tool or a primary initiation tool if you find the enemy team out of position. So GFE, what are they going to pick up here? Maybe a Muradin, maybe what else is available for them? I would like to see Thrall. No, it is going to be Jaina. And I would like to see the Muradin here, though. I love Muradin Jaina. Even though Jaina isn't as high a priority a pick as she used to be, I still think the synergy that Jaina and Muradin have is very, very strong. But nonetheless, they're going to go with the Thrall. And I even said it in there. I would like to see the Thrall pick up as well. Great initiation, great lane sustain. And again, now they have a great matchup to put against that Zagara in the early parts of the match.
Yeah, so securing the Thrall just make sure that Zagara Thrall can't be on the same team. Although, I wouldn't be against seeing a Sylvanas. Wow, those were just lightning fast right there. The Hammer Brother is going to be joining the King of Blades as Falstead and Muradin come into it. So Falstead with the global has the Gust. Gust versus Sunder. We'll have to see which one actually gets off first. I'm a little surprised that there was no support picks this early on. Instead of that Thrall, I was actually banking on an Uther. But Gale Force Esports now basically have their pick of supports. Who do they want to ban? Basically, the damage core, I think, is done here from King of Blades, unless it's going to be a ban on a Sony or an ETC to complement. Abathur was certainly a very quick ban from 2Arc last round, and this is, again, another big battleground, just like Sky Temple.
If KOB has an Abathur player, they have a draft set up that would be so well suited with it. Zagara can harass people off of tributes when you have an Abathur. You want to have those elongated team fights in the first couple of tributes, but no, they're going to ban out the Uther here. So they want to get rid of that healing support. And GFE, either they're not sure about that Abathur, or they're okay. Yep, so yeah, there's the Abathur ban right there. I like it. I'm glad to see that because it can be such a frustrating experience. So no more Abathur talk right from here on out. What does GFE need, though, Sean, here? I mean, they need themselves a good frontline warrior. They need themselves a healer support.
Muradin is on the table, but every other warrior is actually still up there as well. We've seen Leorix, we've seen Diablos, and we've seen ETCs. If I had to take a guess here, I would actually probably go with the Diablo. His souls, especially on such a big map, some of these long tribute fights with 60 souls now kind of becoming the norm for resurrections. He has, not quite a murky potential, but he can really start turning tides.
Yeah. There's a Rainer right there. Obviously, great late game presence.
That's the damage core of GFE right there.
Pushing. Yep. There it is right there. So that's their sustained backliner, but they need a good front line here. ETC is on the table. It comes down to do we want to get priority on our healing support here, or do we want to pick up our frontline warrior?
Well, if they're going to ban an Uther, they have to take a support, and they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ban an Uther and then you don't pick, you're giving away your top choice. Not to cut you off.
This Morales pickup, I feel like it could come back to haunt them. They have a Muradin and an aggressive Dwarf Toss forward, Stormbolt on top of Morales, or a good Mighty Gust where they're able to Mighty Gust away the rest of the team and separate Morales from them. I think this Morales pick could absolutely be capitalized on if KOB maybe gets a little bit more dive or a little bit follow up there. And that's Zeratul right there. Love the Zeratul pickup. That's it. Just so well done. It's going to punish that Morales pickup. And also, not only is the Morales going to have a hard time, Jaina will pre-level 13 as well.
So now that they actually left their warrior here to the last pick, I'm a little curious that they didn't actually put a Rainer into the last pick. But now, all right, so it is going to be an ETC. I highly suspect it's going to be a Mosh on this one, despite the fact that there are ways to defeat that. You going to need that group up mentality. You're going to need the Mosh to kind of help out with Jaina, Thrall, and Rainer, because again, we have some really squishy targets on both sides. Zeratul is going to be looking for the Jaina, looking for the Morales. At the same time, Thrall is going to be looking for the Initiates to get into the bag. Try to single out the Falstead, try to single out the Zagari, use the Sundering in order to try to get that pick up. I'm a little sad that it wasn't a Diablo, but we'll have to see what kind of Mosh magic GFE can pull out here.
All right, guys, so we'll get into this lobby here as soon as we can.
The Zeratul is going to be very variable for me. There's some really good choke points to get off some very good Void Prisons. It has been nerfed a little bit in terms of the range, but it's still a very fantastic zoning tool. Yeah. And if you catch 2-3 people in that, it is more than enough to set up the collapse, because they have a Void Prison into either Maw or Maw into a Void Prison. Very tricky to execute, so you're going to want to see them staggered. But Malfurion and the Roots is kind of where the other big thing is there as well. Whatever you do catch, 2-3 heroes into that, the Roots will be very phenomenal in terms of just setting up the rest of that combo.
Another combo they could execute is a Void Prison, Mighty Gust away the rest of the team, cancel the Void Prison, follow up after that. I mean, there's so much potential with this lineup. I like it quite a bit. You can do the same with a Maw as well. Maw's a little bit more difficult because you have to anticipate the timing of it instead of it being an on-demand cancelization of it. But we're loading into the battleground right now, guys. Again, this is a best of 3 series. Game number 1 between Gale Force and Kings of Blade. We'll figure it out. The singular plural.
Think Kerrigan, Queen of Blades.
Okay.
King of Blades.
King of Blades. Okay.
Yep.
One king, several blades. Confirmed. Again, but this Morales pickup, man, I feel like that Zeratul pickup, there's no GFE didn't have Tassadar, and Tassadar is one of the great counters to deal with Zeratul, obviously, because of the Oracle and whatnot. But this Morales pickup, man, ETC and Thrall are going to have to do a great job at zoning out that Zeratul. They really don't have a lot of reliable ways to get Zeratul out of stealth as well. They don't have, they can't pick up Clairvoyance here. There's really no kind of spam ability that they can use to get Zeratul out of the stealth. So this Zeratul player, he's going to have free roam right here, going to be paying close attention to him. And we're going to introduce these team guys. On the left side of your map, we're going to have Hexo on the Morales, Lamo on the Jaina, Ball and Beast on Rainer, Mystic on the ETC, and How Nguyen playing, rounding it out on that Thrall.
And on the flip side, of course, Collusion is going to be our tank right this round. Tomster's not on that Thrall. He is going to be on the Zagara. Talking Trees is on the Zeratul. We do got Dark Chimera for the heals. And Frozen X once more on our Falstead. Mystically is coming up from behind.
He wasn't expecting that. A big full party, but now Thrall's in a lot of trouble. He gets taken out right there. The first blood going the way of the King of Blades. Right there, guys. So well done by them. I don't think ETC was waiting for that whole entire party bush right there. But we see Falstad. He immediately flies up the top lane to put pressure into that. Zagara now going to be setting up base in the bottom lane. And this is great early game lane presence that Kings of Blade has available to them. The Falstad is good in lane. Obviously, his mobility speaks volumes. But more importantly, Malfurion and Zagara. This Zagara on her own is hard enough to deal with. Now she has a mana battery of Innervate, heals as well. This bottom lane is going to be under a lot of pressure. And I really think Thrall is just going to be useless here. I don't know what Thrall is going to be able to do to deal with this lane. There needs to be a little bit more response here.
And if he gets caught, of course, Talking Trees will be there to add insult to injury as well. But the Roots are going to be on point, and Tomster and crew are not going to get contested out of this. We do have a 3-man push going top as well, but it's not nearly quite the same caliber. Already, a tower's down to half or so, but that's 2 squishies up into the front, and they are just not going to be really able to tank this out nearly as quickly. The double towers and gate now looking into the fort. It's not quite that 1-minute fort that we've seen in the past, but Talking Trees, he's looking for something to do there with How Win, but as long as they take this well, mission accomplished for now. It looks like a rotate is now going to be in order, and Frozen X, they clearly won that race. Look at the experience difference. Frozen X has done well in terms of staying alive and soaking, and here comes the big rotations. None of these guys up top have an escape.
Oh. They pushed in mid lane. They diminish the vision for ETC. ETC doesn't know where they are. Here comes the Murden flank, and good job by them to recognize that everyone was missing in the mid lane. They recognized that rotation, fell back into a defensive posture, and didn't give up any takedowns. We now see Jaina and Morales are rotating down to their Siege Ogres to hopefully apply some split push with that first tribute. Zeratul doing a good job. He's picking up the watchtower, and now he has an eye on this. They have a beat on this. Are they going to make an aggressive push here to try to get these Siege Ogres? Just the Zeratul alone is pressuring them from backing off their Siege Ogres, and now we see the follow-up right here. This may be a sticky situation, though, as now Rainer's turning in here, and already just Rainer's in a... I'm sorry, Malfurion's in a bad position. They get the takedown on some of the ETC rotated from the mid lane. Now Rainer's in trouble. He gets the shield from Morales. Where's the heal? Is the Adrenaline Rush available? Even if it isn't, he's still getting healed up nice and healthy there. So first takedown of the match right there for Gale Force. Tribute spawning down in the bottom lane. Level 4 for both of these teams. And we're going to see what's the play here. A full 5-man collapse against this Tribute. Obviously, they're going to keep Falstad in this top lane to soak as much as they can. And then he's going to fly in this at a moment's notice.
Well, so much for holding that level experience advantage. Because Tomster did lose out the duel up against Halwyn. So that is why you see Halwyn actually very confident down here. Collusion and crew. Here comes right into the Feral. But Frozen X will be okay for this one. As long as Dark Chimera can stay a little bit farther back, he will be all right. He did kind of get demolished in that last fight, but it is now that full 5-on-5. Baneling's not going to be finding their mark, but this does, I want to say, slightly edge out here for Gale Force Esports. They catch somebody. It's I don't think Malfurion can kind of survive a healing through the burst.
TC, an aggressive power slide for Zeratul. Almost got caught out there, but now Thrall's taking a lot of damage. He has that big healing beam, but unfortunately, without that damage mitigation available for Morales, going to get punished now. And here comes an aggressive push from the King of Blades. The Rainer is taking a lot of pressure. Adrenaline can only do so much. Talking Trees, can they get the takedown on him? They can. That would have been at least some reprisal for them to get the Zeratul, but no. 3 easy takedowns going away, King of Blades. Tribute as well. Falstad can fall back, fly to top lane, continue to build that experience advantage through the efficient global mobility and split soaking available to them. And they're going to continue to apply pressure into this bottom lane. Now the fort's under siege.
So unfortunately, I mean, stacking up that CC train just did not come to fruition. Overextensions got punished, and now level 7 comes out here for King of Blades. So yeah, they are actually dealing with this very well. The CC train was very heavily defeated, despite the fact that it was a bit more favored there to Gale Force Esports. But it's only the first tribute. Level 7's not a problem. The bigger problem is, when does level 10 come around? What can we do to bring ourselves back into that one? And overextending top is not the answer.
Yeah, Morales, they weren't aware of the murder in the Zeratul in bottom lane. Patient play by them. They recognized the overextension. They thought about pushing this in, but again, if that murder and Zeratul are not showing on that map, that Lieutenant Morales has to be playing very, very defensively, and that wasn't the case. An easy pickoff right there, and level 7 is now here for Gale Force, right as the tribute spawns down in the bottom lane, but I mean, KOB is already in a phenomenal position to pick this up.
Well, yeah, and they also have these mercenaries now at bottom. They were really hoping for a top lane tribute spawn. The first one, of course, is in the middle. Second one can be kind of wherever they really want. Nice pickup, though, on top of the Zagara. Good set from Mysticles, but unfortunately, they will lose Thrall and Mysticles for their trouble.
Yeah, actually, is Mysticles going to stay alive with Morales coming in here to keep him up? So it's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange to Thrall for Zagara. But all the meanwhile, we see Collusion is going to pick up the tribute here. Now, the second tribute going the way of King of Blades, and now we're starting to hit that awkward spot. Hold that thought, though, as Talking Trees is in some trouble. Actually, no, the Jaina is going to go down instead. A good rotation from Collusion to help out his little buddy. Morales was trying to heal from across the gap there, but wasn't able to keep him alive. But yeah, we're in that situation, Sean, where the King of Blades is going to have level 10. This third tribute is going to spawn. The experience deficit is large enough to where I don't think Gale Force is going to be able to pick up those level 10 heroics before the next tribute.
So what you're seeing from King of Blades is they're getting a lot of picks. I mean, 7 kills already compared to the 2. And what happens, right? It's not a 5-man roaming comp that has kind of stuck together here from Gale Force Esports. They've kind of been off in 2s and 3s. Sometimes they overextend, sometimes their gambles don't work, and they are really starting to fall behind this early game. They're about to hit 9 just as their opponents hit 10, and as you said, you know, that kind of pressure, they need to get a pick. And unfortunately, there's just really no options here. You can't, you know, kind of jump Collusion. He jumps away. You can't jump Talking Trees. He can blink. Tomster now has a Maw. Dark Chimera is a big target, but he's very well protected. Frozen X could have been, you know, a target, but you know, his positioning is just way complete opposite from Gale Force. So yeah, they give it up. They are taking a boss, but I don't think they're going to be the ones to actually sit on it.
This was a very questionable decision right here from GFE. I mean, at level 8, this early of a boss wasn't even going to be that impactful. The two-man Maw, this is not good for Gale Force. They're nowhere near level 10. The follow-up is there. 2 easy takedowns coordinated by the Maw. King of Blades was able to sweep in there, pick up the boss, and now avoid prison onto the Rainer. Rainer's going to be going down as well. So this curse is just adding insult to injury right there. Mid lane is under a lot of pressure from the Bruiser camp. Top lane's pushing in with the curse. We're going to see some tier 2 towers go down right now.
Straight for keep.
And they're just going for the keep. I mean, why not? 12 seconds down with no Rainer, the curse. They don't have to worry about the curse, and still no heroics for GFE. This is just such a... They're playing this so very well. They know that they have a small opportunity to get this done. They're going to go through that window of opportunity, and they need to get out of here pretty quick, though. If they overstay their welcome, they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble. This boss should be easily cleaned up, as it is only a 7-minute boss.
7-minute boss, but 3 level difference. We still don't even have level 10. Our heroics are coming back online. We still have Avatar. We still have our Malfurion, his Tranquility. We do not have ultimates here from the enemy team.
They're pushing the core right now, 7 minutes in. This is very hubristic of them for them to even do this. They got to be careful. Level 10 is almost here for Gale Force Gaming. We might see a rubber band back. There's level 10. Are we going to see a Sundering? They have to get themselves out of there. Okay, very well done by King of Blades to recognize they needed to get themselves out of there, disengaged. But right as level 10 is here for GFE, now they find themselves a level 13 deficit. And they actually did get some structural damage onto the core, down to 76%. That's just very impressive play this far from King of Blades. But, I mean, Gale Force Gaming, they are out of that really, really tight bind, but they lost a lot of ground for it, Sean.
Yeah, it's not exactly a kind of YOLO win game by smashing your face into it situation yet, but still, holding about a 2 to 3 level lead is very impressive. Mysticles is now going to be in some trouble. He has that Mosh, but he's not going to be able to use it defensively. He's just going to have to run for it. He finds Hexo, will be okay for now, but again, the pressure is very, very pressing up against Gale Force eSports. If they leave their base, almost, they're going to be rebuffed here with a very powerful opponent force.
Yep. And that global push from this Falstad, man, if Falstad can put some priority into that bottom lane, he just constantly keep Gale Force inside of their base, keep them contained, continue to build that experience advantage. Now we see them falling back to their boss. And again, ultimately, that sort of series of events that has put King of Blades this far ahead came down to that decision to take that boss. And I mean, even if Gale Force was able to pick up that boss, a 7-minute boss is not that impactful. It maybe would have gotten some tier 1 towers, something like that. I felt like the right call there was for them to split across the lane, soak effectively, get into a defensive posture, but they got punished for it. A great game sense from King of Blades were able to sniff out the fact that they were getting the boss, and now they're able to pick up their own boss. Was a free avenue to these tier 2 towers up in the top lane, and this is going to open up the room for them to push down mid.
Level 14 to 12. I mean, at this rate, we are going to hit that 16 by the time we do get around to the 13 mark here from Gale Force. They are pretty much, again, just kind of stuck on the defensive. One boss leads into another. Now that's actually going to be a free reign on a keep. Again, going right through that small little wall. They don't have to deal with the towers, and they got more than enough hit points with their advantage in order to just take this out. Collusion and Talking Trees in the front. Doesn't even matter what the boss does. It did its job. It kept them busy. Another keep is down. 2 lanes of catapults, 15 advantage, and a fly for the tribute. King of Blades are just absolutely flying through this match.
Yeah, level 16 on the horizon for them. They can fall back, pick up the camps, just continue to keep the pressure on these lanes. Level 13 isn't too far for Gale Force Gaming right now. They need to hit it, that window of opportunity, though. We always talk about it, those windows of opportunities between when you're down levels, but you can even up the talents. And that's just going to be a very, very small amount of time that they're going to have available. And they need to get something going here for them. The biggest opportunity that teams have available to them when they're behind is in between level 16 and level 20. But that is still pretty far off right now for Gale Force. They've already lost 2 keeps, and eventually there's going to be nothing left for them to contain them, for them to protect themselves. They're just going to get pushed in here. So they really don't have that opportunity to get to that level between level 16 and level 20. They need to get something going right now. Oh, Talking Trees is in trouble. He's completely by himself, but he is able to get out of there. Mighty Gust to ensure his getaway as well.
No, it was Mystically. It was Mystically, Shane. He got the W off, but he didn't predict where the territory was going to go. If that lockdown had occurred, it would have been a void prison at the very least, if not just a straight up death. And that could have actually been a big point of resurgence. This 13-15, having that man advantage on the even talent tier could have been the difference.
Yeah, level 13 versus level 13 talents, guys. Could be a moment that Gale Force needs right now. Contention over this Tribute Mystic Please. An overextension is Sundering, though. There's more of a defensive starting, keeping Mystic Please alive. We might see a re-engagement here. Mosh Pit was not utilized. Collusion, Avatar's down. There's no Storm for them to fall back on. It's still no level 16. There's a Stim Pack, an aggressive push here from Gale Force. Oh, no, but the Maw, and actually this could be very, very bad. There's a little bit of an overlap here. Is the follow-up there? Yes, Rainer. I mean, Thrall just gets absolutely disintegrated with the Mosh Pit. There's a Mosh Pit on 3 people. Can they get this air toll? No! He blinks away. Rainer's going aggressive to try to get the takedown, but they can't get the takedown. The Mighty Gust from the false stat pushes away the Morales. Mystic Please is trying to do what he can. But I think finally we see with level 16 online for King of Blades, they are going to be able to take this team fight. Despite the fact that the Devouring Maw and the Void Prison were overlapped, it still caught almost everyone on the side of Gale Force. The follow-up was there. They're going to be able to get this tribute, get the boss as well. And this might actually be game. I don't know if this boss is strong enough, but this is a lot of pressure into the bottom lane. That boss is going to be sieging the core. And again, this is going to force Gale Force Gaming, Gale Force rather, inside of their base. And they can't get outside of their base to soak and try to mitigate this experience.
So the flub aside as we watch Talking Trees, see, this is the CC train that we needed before that tribute. This is going to actually be a very good boss opportunity. Murden is, just about half. He has no avatar. Tomster can't stick around, so well done to Gale Force eSports. Finally able to get that CC train going. That's what I've been waiting for all game. The 4-man mosh was fantastic. Absolutely 100% good stuff from Mystic Please. The flub aside from King of Blades, it's just unfortunate. Yeah, the level 16 kicked in. They weren't able to get to this Jericho. They were able to pick up the Frozen, but by the end of it, as soon as that Void Prison went down, it was a bad situation. The Maw aside, I still think they bounced back very well.
They did. Them securing this boss just kept them inside of this match, but they got to be careful not to overextend a Maw onto Morales. And I think they will be able to punish out this Morales if they can get any follow-up here. Collusion went forward. There's a Hyperion going down, and actually Tomster's very, very low. They have to be careful. Thrall's now on the way. Zeratul on the way too, so it is going to be a 5v5 situation. An aggressive power slide onto Frozen, but he's still alive for now. He's taking a lot of damage. Talking Trees is here. Hexo's pretty low. He's looking for that backline harassment. Oh, he's got to be careful. He's right. Keep the Adrenaline Rush to keep him alive. A 2-man, 3-man Void Prison, and now ETC's completely by himself. He's got a beautiful Void Prison. They completely separated the Morales from the ETC, followed up on top of him, took him down, and this is a great moment of opportunity that King of Blades has available to him. They're going to continue the push here. Poundwin's going to go down. LeBeau's going to go down. Only person left over is Rainer. The Tribute is right just to the north of him as well. They can pick up a curse. They can push the core. This game right now firmly in the hands of King of Blades.
I don't know. I really think that the ball and positioning there kind of led the team into a false hope situation. They powered forward. The Void Prison into the back to catch ETC as soon as he power slid forward for the mosh pit was absolutely devastating. Sure, he'll pick up the tribute for prosperity's sake, but 73%, another gust. Nobody really dangerous up for the next little bit. Game 1 will go to King of Blades Alpha here in this best of 3 finals. There's our redeeming mosh. Zeratul's going to get down and party, but unfortunately, so will the core.
Play me a song, Mr. Piano Man. And unfortunately, that's going to be a sad song for the ETC guys. So despite the fact that King of Blades were ahead of majority of that match, we did see that Gale Force had an opportunity or two to get themselves back in this match. That beautiful mosh enabled them. They did lose that team fight, but those takedowns in that mosh were essential to them to allow to get back to their boss, defend the boss, and essentially take it. But unfortunately, they overstayed their welcome with that push right there. That was their big game-ending mistake, is when they overstayed their welcome, that bottom lane push with the golem. They almost got that false stat taken out. If they got that false stat takedown, that could have been the team fight favoring them. But the level 16 talents tier advantage came online for King of Blades. They were able to get that maw onto Morales. They separated ETC from his healer, took down ETC, and that was all she wrote for game number 1.
Wow, we already have another draft up, so that's pretty phenomenal.
These guys are going and going quick. I like you.
They want to win. They want to win. All right, so we're going to check that out here in just a few minutes. Final thoughts on that, though. The CC train from Gale Force eSports, well, I think was rather well thought out to try to set up for the Jaina. And unfortunately just never really got to work through execution. Thrall, only part of 2 of the 4 kills. Mystically is actually part of all 4, but by the end of it all, it was 16-4 for the kill count between the teams. King of Blades very much on point with their Murden play with their Falstad. Zeratul as well. It's very hard And we've seen this time and again to kind of juggle the Zagara and the Zeratul Void Prison. So the Zeratul, flub aside, I still think overall the comp worked out extremely well. Malfurion was almost never pressured. Almost never pressured. He out-healed the medic, which you don't see that often.
I feel like the Achilles heel of Gale Force last match was that Morales pickup, and both you and I were very critical of in the draft. That Zeratul pickup is just was so very well done. I mean, before the Zeratul was even picked up, I questioned it because of the Muradin. A Muradin can make a Morales' life really, really a living hell. On top of a Zeratul harassing the backline all the time. I feel like if that was a Rhaegar, even maybe a Kharazim would have been pretty good there as well. I felt like that would have lended Gale Force a little bit more just stronger healing potential, and Morales was always having to be in such a defensive posture, they really could never get anything going. So hopefully they can draft a little bit smarter. We're going to see what Battleground is going to be here for game number 2, just waiting on these guys to ready it up. But yeah, I'm very critical of that Morales pickup. I feel like that was the weakest link for Gale Force in that last match.
One of the comments here in chat is still better than Zeratul. I think that's phenomenal. Zeratul becoming a thing, unfortunately. Poor Zuna. He's still a king in my heart. Perhaps not of a blade, but
he may make some questionable plays sometimes, but he's still one of the best players in North America.
Absolutely,
no doubt.
Yep,
he's still one of the best players in North America. That guy is hyphy as one could be. All right, guys, we're into the second game. The battleground is going to be Infernal Shrines.
Oh, man.
Get this underway, draft already going.
What did we see last time with Infernal Shrines? No Muradin. It was a priority on Leoric, Johanna, Jaina, these big AoE classes. As a first pick, first ban from GFE, they are not under the pressure of banning out that Tyrande because they will have that first. So they're actually going to remove the Muradin out of this one.
Okay. I mean, that Muradin play was on point last match. So I like that Muradin pickup here. They can get a Zagara. Zagara is very, very well on this map. They can get Kael'thas. They can get Thrall. It's going to be the Kael'thas. And this opens up a Zagara pickup for King of Blades. This opens up a Thrall pickup. Just the same 7 heroes we see in the first phase of the draft all the time. But it's just a matter of shuffling around and see who gets what.
All right, so Kael'thas is going to be the first pickup here. King of Blades, they don't have a Muradin option. Don't really have to prioritize a tank this early on. Typically, you will see more damage picks. So Jaina comes to mind. Zagara comes to mind. Not entirely too sure Falstad will be a first pick material, but if they really want to secure that Thrall as well for initiation, for Sunders, this is where you would see it.
And yeah, there's the Jaina pickup. So I think Thrall would be great right here. Either Thrall or Zagara, I think is what we're going to see here. That would be the most obvious picks right here. Unless King of Blades wants to pull something out, it is going to be that Thrall. All right. So
I would highly suspect an Uther right here.
Yeah. I think that would be really, really good. We obviously saw him banned out last match. He would have been great for Gale Force that last match to help mitigate with that heavy initiation. And now is the case as well with Thrall. They could go Uther Sonya if they want to do something like that. Sonya obviously pairs very, very well with that Uther. We seldom see Sonya without that Uther behind her. So they have lots of options. Zagara is actually getting this late into the draft. You don't see that very often. Zagara, Kael'thas, Rainer's an option as well. Falstad. All those are strong options. It all depends on what their priority is here.
Not entirely too sure Raynor would be a priority. Again, like a lot of the AoE kind of comes into it. If you want to make sure that you can secure the Uther for a Sonya pickup or another melee pickup, this would be definitely the time for it for Gale Force eSports, as we are going to go into 2 sets of bans and then 2 picks from King of Blades. So what do they want to prioritize? They got the Kael'thas. There's the Sonya. So if they're going Sonya first, they're not actually going to put up an Uther. So this could be Morales or Rhaegar would have to come to mind afterwards. We've been seeing a lot of Malfurion, and Malfurion on this map does admittedly bring a little bit more damage to clearing out those minions with that Moonburn at level 1. So, but I'm a little curious to see if, Kael'thas, Sylvanas, Sonya, with that Malfurion, he's not going to have AoE healing until 10.
Yeah. Yeah, the big thing about Rhaegar and Malfurion is their early game healing is pretty substandard. They don't really come online until the mid game. So it's one of the disadvantages of them. One of the great things about Uther is his healing is consistent throughout the course of the match. It just gets better from here on out. And speaking of which, there's going to be that Uther ban. I like that because they're taking away the Divine Shield on top of Sonya. I mean, the Divine Shield Sonya on top of a big Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas, and you're going to find your backline just being absolutely destroyed. Jaina is just going to be easy pickings right there. So I like the Uther ban. I think that was a very smart ban.
Uther
I like the Sylvanas pickup as well.
Uther ban, I think, is going to be leading us into a Monk pickup from King of Blades because you're not going to be solo tanking with Sonya. double warriors. You get you force the monk with the Uther ban, Tyrande ban. This is almost it's slimmer pickings for GFE for their supports. I highly suspect though it's going to be a monk right in this next set here from King of Blades. Who would you ban though from GFE? Apparently Raynor. All right.
They heard you and they answered swiftly. King of Blaze, they don't have any really good sustain. They have the big burst and initiation from Thrall and the big rush down burst from Jaina, but they don't have any like sustain damage, which is pretty important with these elongated infernal fights that tend to happen in the early and mid game. So I like that. And again, Raynor synergizes well if they're able to pick up the Punisher because it just pushes very, very hard with the Hyperion. That's why we see a Sylvanas pick up. And there's the Falstad, so a good backliner, good mobility. Obviously, Falstad, now they need themselves a warrior, and it's going to be Johanna. Obviously, Johanna has a lot of priority in this map up because we've talked about a little bit ad nauseum that it's all about that wave clear. Johanna has the best wave clear of any warrior in the game right now. Maybe Leoric behind it too. Are we going to see a frontline warrior here for GFE, or maybe they're going to go with a double bruiser here? They could go with Leoric. Leoric has great wave clear. I actually would really like to see that. Entomb followed up by a Kael'thas and a Wailing Arrow. I think Leoric would fit really, really well, and then they have a choice of whatever healing support they want to go behind it.
With this combo, though, I would suspect an ETC. So an ETC Sonya, that just gives a lot of freedom.
Yeah, that's good as well. Yeah.
Your healer, I mean, we've seen now Malfurion a few times. Morales could work out. I would probably want to see more of the Malfurion. They could snipe out the Monk here if they really want to deny it out from Kings of Blade. I'm really surprised that it wasn't actually the Monk, but Falstad coming into that as well. You always got to remember coming out of the bans, if Falstad is up, his disengage is legendary.
Yes. And I like it because it's they kind of have this little contrasting, but the dichotomy of King of Blades draft I like because you have the disengage of Falstad and then the initiation of Thrall, so they can really dictate the flow of the team fight with either one of those tools. If it's a team fight they want to take, boom, Sundering, go win, go Hyphy, hit the Blessed Shield. If it's not a team fight, it's an unfavorable one they don't want, use the Mighty Gust, get themselves away. So very good. They have good flow control in these team fights. It is going to be that Leoric, as I suspected, instead of that ETC. Either ETC or Leoric, I think either of them would have been strong for different reasons, but with that Leoric and that Sonya, that's just a lot of wave clear they have available. They can definitely have a lot of potential to pick up some early game Immortals here.
I'm no longer confident in my Monk pick. It's just looking worse and worse.
Well, you know what? I mean, double bruiser frontline warrior. There's a lot of value at a 7-sided strike. It's still a possibility, but I mean, obviously, it's either between Monk or Malfurion at this stage right now.
I'm not a fan of the Rhaegar here. I think that he's just a little bit too vulnerable. I mean, Falstad will be flying around Jaina with the perma slows, and Thrall can catch you with his own set of puppies. So I'm not entirely too sure how that will work out. It will come down to a lot of positioning. Yeah. The Monk pick, if it wasn't at the Johanna spot, then it just wasn't going to happen. Malfurion for their own. So in terms of going back and forth, the double bruisers is going to have to do a lot of work, especially with the Johanna front line being backed up by Malfurion.
Yeah. So I like these drafts. Again, I don't know. I want to say it's relatively, in my eyes, I think it's relatively even. I think the early game from Gale Force, Rhaegar isn't a very good early games healing. Well, not that he's very good, but his healing really doesn't come online until post level 10. But Malfurion's the same way. Malfurion's impact in the early game, though, I think is going to be a little bit more because he does have better wave clear with Moonburn, as you mentioned a little bit ago. And he does have that Entangling Roots, which synergizes very well with Condemn into Entangling Roots into Jaina. It's just a huge amount of CC chain and a lot of damage going down there. So I feel like the early game is going to go to Kings of Blade, but I think if Gale Force can make it to that level 13 talents for both Kael'thas and Rhaegar, they can really find themselves in a good situation here as they transition into the mid game.
Well, this is where GFE actually have to put their best foot forward. I'm going to update the scores here because it is sitting 1-0 here for King of Blades, who are still on the same sides. God bless. Makes it easy for me.
It sure does, man.
1-0 in this best of 3. And again, I mean, the double bruisers can do work. You're going to be looking at a Leoric and Tomb, I think.
They started the game with... I was literally joining the lobby, and they started the game without me.
Oh, shit. Are you not in here?
I was joining the lobby, and then they started the game.
Can you message them then?
I will do that.
I told them start whenever because I thought you were in. My bad. Whoops.
All good.
So either way, Mysticles and that Entomb is going to be the big setup. Sylvanas, I'm not entirely confident with the double bruisers. Like, you have a lot of opportunity to land some big damage, but we don't have a huge collapse comp with that in tune. I would still suspect you're going to see it. See if you can message the players, because I can't say a damn thing to them.
Yeah, I actually don't have anyone on the list right here.
At all?
No, not any of them on my friends list. I'll get
no! Chat, no! Actually, I have an idea. Let me see if this works.
I was quick. I thought I was quick to get on that lobby. Usually I join the lobby right after the draft is up.
Yeah,
and
I'm a little.
Right as I get into the lobby, they were all about starting that game, man.
I'm a little disappointed in you. That's totally not the right button.
What'd you do?
I'm trying to get you a feed.
But that would be good.
Yeah, I can't do a webcam to you and to the stream. Shane, I guess you're the analyst now. I believe, buddy. You're the analyst. I'll feed you info. How's that?
That sounds good to me.
Because I can't talk to them at all.
I'm trying to get in talk to the admin.
Check your
here,
recent
guys.
players list.
I apologize. I thought I was joining the lobby. I usually join the lobby right after the draft, and all of a sudden.
Fail gooch. All right. Well, we'll see if they actually want to remake. They might not. I don't think we can force them either. Level 1 fight in the mid, not yielding any kind of big results. Mystically's LMAAO, and Bottom B is going to just be ping-ponging back and forth between these lanes. They're looking to do the double stacking on their passives, of course, with that Hal Wind just getting destroyed into that top lane. Reanimation and the Mana Addict is the big reason why that is happening. Got to get those orbs into these late game situations. Tomster's holding down the fort bottom. Sonya up into the top as well. Top is going to be looking a little bit worse for wear if this continues on with the push. And yeah, it's just not going to be abating at this point. So a 3-man push coming in from King of Blades into the top lane. They are looking to put up that pressure, take some of that structural damage. And it's basically going to be the same situation bottom. The Sylvanas crew bottom will be healthier and safer if a little slower. And that's actually going to be forcing Frozenex to fly cross-country in order to try to defend out their territory. Did you catch anyone there, Shane?
Gates are about to drop.
Shane! I feel really bad about this.
It's all good, man. This is a learning experience for me. I get to cast from 90 seconds in the past, man.
No. All right, level 1s. It is the Moonburn. Knight takes pawn from the Johanna. Ooh, we got a pause from Ball and Beast. Is there no caster in here?
I think they've caught on to the situation. Admin is working on it, guys. Admin's working on it. It's all good. It's all good, man.
The admin said there's not a caster. Oh, I feel so bad.
It's all good, man. It's my fault for not getting the lobby. I thought I was getting in that lobby soon.
I think we could, boys. Oh shit. I don't think they're gonna let you in.
That's okay. Do your thing, man. Take it away. It's all you, man.
We do got a dagger start here from Sylvanas at level 1, Lost Soul. So expect to see the vulnerability out from it a little bit later on. They're not remaking. I'm so sorry, Shane.
It's okay. Carry on, man.
I feel bad. So the first altar is now going down. The shrine is going to be a molten Punisher. You can tell by the color there. And nobody really taking the time to kind of destroy these post-haste. Halwyn is actually still top. There we go. He's finally going to rotate down. And a little bit of poke for collusion. But it's Johanna. I mean, she has the iron skin. She has heals from the map for in. Mystically's a little far forward. That's some big damage on top of him. He's now actually going to be low on the fight. But Jaina is the one to get eliminated. And now it's not actually looking any better for King of Blades. It looks like they're going to be forced off point for now, Shane.
So we see Season Marksman on the Falstad, so that's gonna give him a little late game scalability there, guys. He's not going up that extended barrel roll range or anything like that. And one thing about last match, the Falstad, he actually had I meant to mention this, but he was averaging over 2 Season Marksman stacks a minute in that game.
Pretty good.
On top of a stim pack, he was actually doing an absurd amount of auto attack damage that last match. So if he's able to continue that momentum in this one, he's gonna be very good.
Oh, it's a massacre. Johanna with the perfect condemn into her roots, picks up 2 quick kills, 33 Little minions to the name of GFE, and they're not going to be able to finish this off. Johanna's into the back, finishing off the rest. That's going to be a Molten Punisher for them. Hexa's not even going to get out of this one unscathed. It's a 4-for-0 turnaround, sir, and a Molten Punisher going to King of Blades.
All right, guys. I see on my my end a pause. Not much I can analyze here, Sean.
What if I gave you my webcam, turned it off on OBS, and you could watch my screen through my webcam?
Let's do it. We're doing this, guys.
All right. Well, the Molten Punisher is going to be pushing down that mid. I don't know actually how to turn off a global source in OBS, so this isn't going to work at all.
Hey, that's okay.
I have other things I can try. Molten Punisher got 0 towers. Would you believe? It jumped in on top of Mysticles. It got baited out. It was basically stomping and mashing the ground and hitting no towers. And the Molten part of it didn't actually RNG onto any towers. No towers going to go the way of King of Blades. It was an unsupported Punisher anyways. Top lane has been pushing in. How Win up there on the defense is just not going to be able to hold against Collusion, Talking Trees, and Frozen X. And as it turns out, looks like they're just going to return the favor bottom. 7-7, but a little bit of a lead developed now from King of Blades. Oh, where did that Falstad go? He went all the way bottom to help out Tomster, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
Falstad actually not going with the hammering build, instead going with that high mobility build into his combat trait. As you mentioned, you talked about a little bit ago, that Flow Rider. So I anticipate at level 16 he's going to pick up that level 16 talent that synergizes very well with it, where his combat trait comes up even after 2 seconds of taking damage. Right. So it's very high mobility and it's very mana battery. Oh, you're wearing an MLG sweater. Look at you. And it's a very high mobility build. I'm a big fan of it, but until level 16, it doesn't really. You got to be careful about getting poked too much, or else you're going to find yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage there, because you could have a more favorable talent there. But come level 16, it's just he can throw out all the cooldowns. He has a lot of mobility, and I really like that build.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can watch it. We're doing this, guys. Y'all don't even know. Let's do it.
The webcam on my laptop has been turned to my screen, ladies and gentlemen, and Shane is now casting off of that. Pro strats here. All right, level 9 to 8. King of Blades is definitely favoring for the level 10 fight, and we have another shrine popping up top.
We saw the Bruiser Camp being picked up there, but now the positioning, it looks like it's favoring Gale Force. Obviously, we see Sonya trying to spin to win to pick up that, but Falstad's doing the just keeping her out of range, making sure it's not too much. Level 10 is almost here for King of Blades, and I think with that level 10, Gale Force they're just gonna have to fall back, give this Immortal up, get level 10 as fast as they can. It's an early game Punisher rather, so it shouldn't make up too much ground. Maybe a tier 1 tower, do a little bit of damage to fort, but as long as they fall back, get level 10 as fast as they can, they should be able to recover from this pretty well.
Actually, somebody had a better idea. View, call, where is it? Share screens. There. You now get to see what I see.
Awesome. This works.
Skype saving eSports.
Sounds good, man.
All right, so Collusion's up
guys,
top.
We're back to a double cast. Awesome.
Yeah.
So this, the Immortals still going down here, and we see Collusion. They actually have a big push bottom lane, is forcing a response out of the Falstad. He's going to Mighty Gust out of there, and the Punisher has now been picked up in the top lane. Johanna was up there by herself picking it up, and just the full Condemn build coming out from Johanna. No battle momentum, anything like that. Just able to spam out those Condemns, and that's so good on top of those Punisher shrines, and are. Well done by them. They're going to pick up that Punisher in the top lane and just force a response out of Gale Force Gaming. And right now, despite a little bit of an experience advantage for King of Blades, the main story here is the momentum that they have. They're dictating the flow of the match. They're split pushing right here in the mid lane. They're going to get themselves a level 13 advantage in no time flat.
Level 10 to 11, so I mean, any kind of big fight can happen. The Leoric did not go in Tomb. It's a March of the Black King coming up from him. So there's no leap, so it is a Wrath of the Berserker. We have nothing in order to really catch any of King of Blades. With that March of the Black King, it's very easily avoidable. I mean, other than what? Our Gravity Lapse? If you can catch a 3-man Gravity Lapse, you might have a good time with it.
especially considering there's a Mighty Gus on the other enemy team. They really need hard initiation. Speaking of which, Thrall's in a lot of trouble here. The Wailing Arrow is going to be able to take him down. That last slam from Sonya securing the takedown. The Tranquility just way too late. Thrall didn't take the best means of aggress to get back to his healer. So an aggressive Wraith walk forward. And again, I agree. I feel like Entomb would be much better in here, would give them what they need, and that's hard initiation against a team composition that has great disengage through the Mighty Gus. So it's going to be very questionable, but that we obviously saw that last team fight going well for them, and they really needed that pick off there. Can they translate that? Can they capitalize on this the opportunity, though? It doesn't really look like it. Thrall's back on the map, and even still with that one takedown, King of Blades is still in firm control of this match.
Yeah, it was still very much in control, as you said. With the 13 now on the horizon, they defended nicely. I mean, yeah, they lost out Tomster. That's fine. March of the Black King actually did cut off a little bit more of the support there from King of Blades, because you'd have to go through him in order to get to Tomster. Nobody really was willing to do that. So good stuff there from Hal Wynn, as well as the ancestral timing from Rhaegar. I thought that was actually rather on point. Kept him basically going at full health, and he got away with his life. So big props right there to Hexo. He does have the Earth Shield. It's not going to be a cleanse, so it's a little bit of a beefier build to go with, especially with double bruisers, you know, either one of them going in front.
Yeah.
The cleanse very likely not to be saving their life, but you never know when a little bit of extra shield could. And now we got
so level 13 not too far off for Gale Force either. So they are in a much better situation now than they were in game number 1. They're down a little bit, just a level, but they aren't down those several levels, which really kind of snowballed that game number 1 in King of Blades' favor.
Now. Yeah.
And they're pushing in the top lane, looking to get themselves into a decent position. As you see this next shrine in the mid lane. Oh man, Leorc's caught in a decent, bad position. He's gonna be able to get out. Iron Skin from Collusion. The March just completely whiffed right there.
Yep.
So this is actually a good opportunity for King of Blades to fall back, wait for Iron Skin, but they're showing really hard on Collusion. They know there's no Iron Skin. Tranquility not able to keep Johanna alive. Johanna goes down with the ancestral healing, topping everyone off. And this is a great moment for Gale Force. The Mighty Gust, unfortunately, a little bit too late. They needed it earlier. The Johanna's down, and now that lone front warrior is not available for King of Blades. And Gale Force has evened up the odds. They're looking good right here. This is exactly what they needed to do. Pick up an Immortal, push it down the throat of mid lane. They're looking to get maybe another takedown here onto Tomster. He's going to dodge the gravity lapse.
Still, I mean, they're picking up one kill at a time. They are slowly climbing back into this one. They're still not able to take lead in experience, but 36 now, and there's the Frozen Punisher coming into it, and just behind in experience. This is actually poised to be a big swing of momentum now to Gale Force eSports. Their double bruisers are working out. In fact, you know, they're saying that they can do this even without an Entomb, because they're really not hitting anybody with the March.
Yeah, the Marches have not been on point, and it's going to have to be a big clumped up from the Blades for them to get, for a big March to get out here. But Collusion, he's in the front line. They're trying to damage on the support, but oh man, huge damage on Johanna. The Iron Skin, no, the Iron Skin's out there. Johanna gets taken out again. So this a really aggressive lineup that Gale Force has. They're playing well to it. They're grounded left on a Thrall. Can they get a follow-up on a Thrall? I wish there was an Entomb there. There's not, though. He's going to be able to get away, but the push continues. This Punisher is going to get in the back lines and give them a room to possibly push in these tier 2 structures. I'm surprised they're not pushing in. There's no Johanna. They have a Sylvanas. I feel like the right call there was to get those tier 2 towers and get themselves to level 16 as fast as possible. Looks like instead they're going to fall back to the last outer structure available to King of Blades, that fort and top lane. So that's also a good decision. It's diminishing the map control available for King of Blades, and that way you give them a little bit more control over this objective as the game goes on.
Well, that's going to be now 15.5 to just about 15 here for Dark Chimerian crew. They're going to have to respond to the Ball and Beast push up here with Lemo and Hexo, but Tom's just coming from behind. We're looking for that Sundering, and what a great Sundering. That's going to be a quick 2-kill turnaround. Mysticles, you're in the wrong neighborhoods here, sir. That root not going to hit. Frozen X not going to be able to kind of get a big positioning on him, but he did get a heck of a lot of hits, and Tomster, you just missed. Doesn't matter. Mysticles has already used the W and everything else in his kit. He's going to drop. But Sylvanas did live. I misspoke. Sylvanas would have lived. Oh, is that actually enough? Is that enough? It's not near enough.
Nope. Yeah, the heal is going to keep Jaina alive there, and that, rather unfortunate. Gale Force was looking good, but King of Blades, they are not going to get. They're shrugging off those kind of last couple team fights that didn't go very well for them. Now they find again themselves at an experience advantage, but this is still anyone's game, guys. This is absolutely still anyone's games. All keeps her alive. 1 fort available for King of Blade in the top lane, 2 available for Gale Force. The next shrine is activating down there, and this Sylvanas is going to be back online. The big thing here, though, Willing Wailing Arrow was used right before she went down. No Wailing Arrow for 50 seconds. That's a huge heroic that they need to secure takedowns. They're not going to have that available. Conversely, though, we see almost every single heroic available for King of Blades. If not, it'll be up in her moment. Mystic Ecclesi's caught out. He's going to be going down here despite the hardened bones. He face checked the bush. And we all know how that can play out sometimes. Aggressive positioning from King of Blades. Now they're going to be able to take this Bruiser camp as well. No Leoric for probably about 20 seconds in total. And a good pickoff right there.
Yeah, that pickoff is going to be putting us into a much better position here for King of Blades. They've retaken the experienced lead. Hexo and Ballin were able to get 9. But unfortunately, that could be it. If Tomster has that Sundering, and he does, well, he's not going to find either target. Well, all right, a little bit of a cleanup there on Hexo, but a little bit of a waste of an ultimate there, so, you know, tit for tat. But still, 9, is that enough? Mysticles is back. He's not going to be dead for the longest of times. We got the Wailing Arrow ready to go, and Mysticles could actually charge right through this with a kill.
There was a great opportunity for a Marshall, but Collusion again is the target here, and Johanna is getting focused down so hard. We see that high damage potential that Gale Force has available to him once again. The moment Iron Skin's no longer available, they immediately jump on Johanna. There's nothing they can do about it. Malfurion not known for his burst healing. That's his big weakness. He isn't a big burst healer. There wasn't even a Tranquility pop for that. So no Johanna. Tranquility is not going to get the highest value in the world. This Immortal right here, I'm sorry, this Punisher is going to be going to Gale Force. Going to be going down in that bottom lane. No Johanna for 20 seconds, and I mean, we could see the first keep of the match right here. It's gonna be pretty close. One more pickoff for Gale Force will secure them this keep, but nonetheless, they're gonna put a lot of pressure in this bottom lane.
Yeah, that's it's still anybody's game. Gale Force eSports is really putting up a huge fight into this one. I mean, a little bit early on, they weren't exactly dominating, but then a few good kills, a few good punishers, the double bruisers, still doing some really good work. We have all the ultimates ready to go, pretty much, but there's the bait out. Getting that punisher out from this bottom doesn't matter, so Sylvanas is able to just kind of clean it up. There goes the tower there as well. That should be it for the aggression. Not a lot else to capitalize on. 40 seconds on one camp, 37 on the other. The only one actually here ready to go is exactly where Halloween is going. He's going to pick them up very, very quick. But my goodness, Mr. Shinguchi, the fights have just been on point from both sides.
They have, man. This game is by far the most equal match that we've seen thus far. Game 1 was just a complete dominance by King of Blades. With maybe a couple missteps every now and then, but right now Gale Force, they've found their stride and they're carrying it well. Their late game obviously is just being carried right now by that Kael'thas level 13 and on. As Sonya's damage, her damage just scales very, very well into the late game. So as far as comparing that to the late game of King of Blades, they have that Falstad. He has that level 16 talent, which I talked about a little bit earlier when I had no idea what was going on in the match. He has the seasoned marksman. So as far as late game, between these two drafts, I actually do like King of Blades draft a little bit more because Storm tier talent, that Storm Shield that Malfurion's going to have is going to give him that extra burst damage mitigation he needs, and maybe and as well as the Indestructible, because the big bane is that Sunshine, or I'm sorry, not Sunshine, the Collusion has been getting focused down and just getting completely torn apart. Come level 20 with an Indestructible and a Storm Shield from Malfurion, that's not really going to be an option anymore. They're going to have to find other targets to pick off, and they really haven't been able to do so. So I think in the late game, if King of Blades can get there without giving up too much more ground or losing another team fight, that they certainly can find themselves in a decent position and an ability to come back right now.
19-18, and here comes that next shrine. It's going to be to the top, and it not entirely too sure which way it'll go in terms of the elements, but we are very close to that level 20 mark here from Gale Force eSports. They have almost an entire level upon their opponents. So with those 20s coming in, you know, things like Spectral Leech, things like Ignore Pain, things like Bolt of the Storm, and that Storm Shield could be huge. This is basically do or die time. We need to fight before the 20. There goes that window, but can they catch Halloween? They're going to be bringing him down as quick as they can. Harden Pain, or Ignore Pain, actually coming out very big there, as well as the Stone Shields. And now Mysticles, man, can he make this happen?
This is going to be very difficult for King of Blades. They need to disengage from this. They need a Mighty Gust, but it's on cooldown because this is not a favorable team fight for right there. If they get picked off right here, this could just be the game. And there goes down the Thrall. They're all clumped up right here. Mystic clears with the aggressive right puck forward. Are we going to see that March of the Black King? We're not. There it is right there. The huge March of the Black King, keeping him alive, doing a huge amount of damage. Now Collusion once again, he's getting chased down. The aggressive Bolt of the Storm from the Kael'thas is going to secure the takedown on the Falstad. Collusion's going to be the next one to go down. And that was such a poor team fight for King of Blades to take there. They should have fallen back, given up the Immortal, hit level 20, defend the Punisher post level 20, and then carry their late game advantage with the draft that they had. But they forced a team fight that was unfavorable for them, and they got punished for it. And we see right now, Gale Force is going, screw the objective, screw everything else. We know we have this game, and guys, I think we're going to be bringing this to a game number 3.
Yeah, they immediately go for the bottom. The path of least resistance to the core is going to be straight through that, and it just gets absolutely demolished. So that will bring us to a tie game and a chance for Shane Gutscher to redeem his joining game skills. Definitely a fun time. How do I get out of this?
That's a question I've been asking myself for a long time.
Stop sharing screens. All right, cool. There we go.
There we go.
Bringing us back to webcams.
Thank you for sharing. Being so generous.
So again, like the double bruisers, even without that march, I still wanted to see that in Tomb. I don't think the marches were a very big difference there. 28,000 hero damage by the end of it. Leoric actually clocking in third here for the team. Halwyn actually apologizing.
That's all good.
But, I mean, some really good stuff out of the Sony. The blink forwards at the end were for the body blocking. That's actually the reason that Collusion was able to go down. And Collusion was focused a lot. 4 deaths on his team, doubling anybody else in his team. In fact, he was a full half. And when you don't have that warrior pressure, it doesn't matter how many bruisers or backline you have. If you don't have that front, the whole thing collapses. And Gale Force eSports bringing it to 1-1. Big kudos to them.
I'm excited, guys. We're going to get into game number 3. Game number 1 was King of Blades all day, every day. Game number 2 was very even. The decision-making of King of Blades in the late game, I think, is really was their Achilles heel, the reason they lost. And on the other side of the coin, though, Gale Force, they really forced some great team fights. They played very well. They knew that it all came down to taking Collusion out of that equation and kind of carrying the momentum from there on out. So we're going to see which one of these is going to be the victor here this weekend from the Divergent Game Series, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Hit that follow button. Let everyone know here that you support Divergent and what they're doing with this amateur series. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys, and hopefully we'll get this game number 3 underway pretty soon and make sure I'm in the lobby this time.
So mistakes were made. I'm wearing this giant heavy sweater with 3 computers, all with exhaust fans and a small room. Oh, I'm overheating a little bit here.
You're in Canada, man. Isn't it like...
It's not even negative degrees here.
Like you literally live in the world of Frozen.
It's not. It's been a stupid warm winter.
Really?
Like stupid.
Well, it's expected to snow here this weekend, and I was raised in Florida where it doesn't snow, and I have no idea how to live in snow. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to drive in snow. Can you like go outside when it's snowing? Like, can you actually breathe the air, or is it like Mars where you can't breathe the air?
You're kidding me,
snowing? I have no clue. I honestly have no clue.
Honestly, no clue. Sir, get out of wherever you live. Go see the world a little bit. My goodness. Yes, you can breathe the air where it's snowing. God, if it was like Mars, nobody would be living on this planet. Oh, go watch The Martian. It will tell you.
Is that how bad Canada is? That people would rather live on Mars?
Some winters. This winter was very tame. Very tame.
You're like, screw this. I'm going to Mars. It's too cold.
The last map is going to be Garden of Terror. Now, Garden of Terror, I'm not entirely too sure we're going to see any kind of forced bans based upon what we just saw in the last game.
Right.
Kael'thas would probably be the big target if it's anybody. I don't think Leoric or Sonya are going to be warranted bans on Garden of Terror itself. Keep in mind, though, as well, this is a great soaking map for Abathur play and Vikings. This is still a very dominant map for Vikings, having control of not only your other 2, but as well as the plant. It's a powerful thing.
Go. I'm already in the lobby.
Yeah. I'm just going to let you sound it off.
Fine, guys. So we're just waiting for this next draft to pop up. And as you mentioned, yeah, this is a Lost Vikings map. But when we do see the Lost Vikings, this is pretty much the only time we actually saw them on Towers of Doom. That'll be interesting to see if Vikings are going to be viable on that battleground. But we'll talk about that later. We digress. The draft is underway here. Going to be Garden of Terror. Now, Lost Vikings is a heroes set of heroes that is really, it's not one of these strategies you can just kind of haphazardly throw into your draft and think it's going to go well. You have to have a player who's very well versed in that And your team also has to know how to play around the Lost Vikings. So if this is something that either one of these teams has practiced, it could absolutely be a decent pocket pickup here as this draft develops. But business as usual, Zagara ban, Tyrande ban, Kael'thas first pick here. And again, same 7 hero guys. It's just the state of the meta right now. But we're seeing the draft develop here. Muradin, Jaina, Thrall, all of the above. We'll see what these guys choose to pick.
So Zagara still prioritized as a ban over Kael'thas. I mean, that was a really good set of games from both these teams. But Gale Force Esports and that Kael'thas did some amazing work last round. So either way, King of Blades are going to be able to pick it up. Muradin will now come out of the bans and into the first pick potential here for GFE. But who do they want to pair with it? Jaina comes to mind. Zagara's already out. Thrall has been the other big priority to this. If you're going to see a Vikings, it's going to be last. And if you want to actually go with the Vikings, this is where I think to see a Rainer if GFE wanted to throw that into the last pick potential.
So there's that Muradin pickup. Are we going to see the Jaina? Or are we going to see the Thrall? Be any of those. Falstad generally, you talked about it last draft. Falstad generally doesn't make it.
Yeah, you just don't
draft.
see him in the
makes
first
it in the
round.
second phase. So I think it's probably going to be either Thrall or Jaina, unless I'm missing a hero. Okay, a Sylvanas. That's actually a pretty early Sylvanas pickup. I feel like they could have maybe saved Sylvanas for a little bit late in the draft. I don't think that really would have been a very high priority ban or pick for King of Blades. I don't know. Maybe they know that the Sylvanas is very high valued on this battleground by King of Blades.
Well,
but
Sylvanas,
nonetheless, strong pushing potential with that with the Garden Tear.
I think it also seals the a potential Abathur pick from King of Blades. There's no Zagara. The next best lane push is probably going to be a Sylvanas. But what do you do on this map? You do have the opportunities to go for kind of the split soaking pressure. Sylvanas will kill Vikings and push them all the way back, and she will absolutely nullify Abathur pushes. So I think it's more of a ceiling pick than anything.
Two. King of Blades, they're picking up that Falstad. They're putting priority. Again, this is a large map, guys, so global mobility can really shine. It can really give you a great advantage if you're able to exploit that superior split soaking capabilities you have with that mobility that is granted to you by the Falstad. And they can they can finish off their backline. Thrall is still available, and we saw last game, we saw what kind of the contrasting effects, but synergistic effects nonetheless of the disengage ability of a Falstad with the Mighty Gust and the initiation of a Thrall. It didn't really work out for him in that last match, but I still think it's very, very. I think it's still very strong because it just gives you such a strong ability to dictate the flow of the team fight. If you want to get out, you can get out. If you want to go in, use the Sundering. I really, really like the idea of it. So I would like to see a Thrall pick up here and maybe experiment a little bit more, even though it didn't play out very well for him in game number 2.
I got a warning flashing in my corner of my obs about high CPU usage. This is what you get for making me screen share and Skype and do all this. Johanna there is going to be actually a very interesting prioritization. I wouldn't have expected to see her come out this early because you probably are not going to see Gale Force Esports actually go for the double heavy tank, especially on this map.
Yeah, right.
More of a bruiser play would actually pair up very nicely, but either way, all right. So, I mean, this was clearly very discussed. They went down to 17 seconds in their pool. Uther out, Jaina immediately because nobody took the Frost Queen, so you're not going to be seeing that combo here with Sylvanas. Zagara's out there as well. Rainer is still a big option here for GFE.
And Garden of Terror tends to go late into the game just because this battleground is so vastly large. And Rainer, again, he's great throughout the course of the match, but he shines in the late game. He gets that seasoned marksman stacks, and he can just chunk away on the Johanna. I mean, we saw last match, Gale Force were very, very well-versed in focusing down a Johanna. So I would like to see that Rainer pickup. I think that would fit very, very well into this lineup. But at the same time, they do need maybe a little bit. I would like to see the Thrall as well. They need a little bit more initiation. They already have the Muradin, which is a strong initiator, but generally want to see a secondary initiation behind it, whether it be Void Prison, a Maw, or an Entomb, or anything like that. I think the best choice right now would be a Thrall, if that's sort of the composition they go with, or a Sonya. Okay, I kind of dismissed Sonya because Uther was banned out, but Sonya is still very strong nonetheless. So are we going to see a Rhaegar then as their healing support, or is it going to be a Kharazim? I mean, it could be a Kharazim for King of Blades as well. There's a lot of options for both these teams right now.
I mean, it's basically a toss-up. Thrall versus Sonya. Teams have obviously their own kind of ideas about who to pick where, but I
Yeah.
think Sonya is a little bit safer here in terms of she's able to pick up creep camps just a little bit quicker, a little bit more safer. She's going to have that ferocious healing available to her, whereas Thrall is very highly dependent upon not kind of getting stun locked to death. And Sonya with the Wrath brings that CC reduction as well. Vala is going to be joining the backlines here, Sylvanas. So yeah, the damage potential of Gale Force eSports just does not really seem to rival that of the Kael'thas Falstead yet. If they do want to add a Thrall to this, again, that Sundering could be a fantastic initiation for it. The Rhaegar's getting sniped. King of Blades is saying that's going to be ours. And with the Johanna, it's very easy to land Ancestral sometime. But Collusion on Johanna wasn't exactly the best in the last game. Could be on tilt.
Absolutely, and that had nothing to do with Collusion's play per se. It was just that Gale Force exploited the fact that it was the Johanna was the only lone warrior. Collusion still played very well, but unfortunately he wasn't able to play the style he was looking for and got punished very, very hard for it. So, and it is going to be that Thrall. He called it out right there. I like that pickup. And so, what? I mean, is it going to be a Malfurion? Malfurion wouldn't be too bad, as Malfurion plays well into kind of double warrior, even though Sonya's not really a warrior, a double warrior composition. It could be a Kharazim as well. Get a lot of value out of that 7-sided strike between the Thrall and the Johanna. I don't think it's certainly not going to be a Brightwing. I wish Brightwing, because that Brightwing would fit in with global mobility, but it's not going to be that. I think it's pretty much a toss up between Kharazim and
I'd put more strength in
right now,
I'd put more strength into Malfurion personally.
Yeah,
he's
agree.
actually been producing some pretty good results. We've been seeing a lot more regrowth builds out of them rather than like Elun's Grace and catch up. Yeah, of course, Caster's Curse. There's the Kharazim, but a 7-sided strike on this Kharazim, I'm not entirely too sure. They might, putting a palm on Sonya, I think, is just absolutely too good.
Yeah,
it's not a divine shield, but it will keep her going.
Yeah, it'll keep her in that back line, and she'll be able to get back there, take out the Falstad and the Kael'thas. And Kael'thas pre-level 16 and pre-level 20 is a very squishy target, easy to latch onto. But after level 16, Kael'thas is actually like really tanky. If you're not able to stun lock him and prevent him from the arcane barrier, especially with level 20 as well, he actually is very difficult to latch onto and take down. Actually, Falstad would be a little bit easier. Because he only has that barrel roll as opposed to the big damage mitigation and the ability to escape through Bolt of the Storm. Well, but nonetheless, yeah. I feel like I like Kings of Blades draft a little bit more. Again, they have that the Thrall and the Falstad, the ability to control the engagement or disengagement of the team fights, which is very, very pivotal. But at the same time, the pushing prowess that Gale Force has with that Sylvanas to be able to synergize very well with the Garden Terror on this map. They can find themselves pushing down structures and getting themselves an experience advantage through that means. It all comes down to the Sonya for Gale Force as far as I'm concerned. If the Sonya can get value and finds good opportunities to get in the backline without getting punished, these team fights are going to go to Gale Force. But it's going to be very, very difficult between the Johanna Condemns, between the Gravdolapse, and between the Falstad Mighty Gusts.
So we've been seeing a lot more strafes out of Vala these days. I very rarely get to see the Rain of Vengeance, but who knows? Maybe my Caster Curse will kick in, and this will be a Rain of Vengeance. But if a lot of this initiation, Thrall throws out his Sundering, Johanna can't get in range of her. The counter damage from a strafe combo with Silence Arrow with the Wailing Arrow, with Howlin and that Whirlwinds with his Seismic Slams. The catch potential, I think, is rather there. If we can't make this initiation happen from King of Blades, and they can't do anything about that Vala, the strafe will get some immeasurable damage.
All right, guys. So again, this is going to be the last match of the night. Everyone give your favorite team your energy on the left side of your map. We're going to have Gale Force. We're going to have Hao Nguyen on Sonya, Hexo on the Kharazim, Ball and Beast on the Sylvanas, Mysticles on the Muradin, and rounding it out is going to be a Lamo on that Vala.
And on the flip side, of course, King of Blades, as they get into it, Collusion up front once more will be the tank. Talking Trees on the Kael'thas. We got Frozen X still on that Falstead. Tomster's going to be our Thrall. Pretty good Thrall, if you ask me. And Dark Chimera once more on their support with the Fight Dog. And, Rhaegar, we kind of poo-pooed him a little bit in the last game. Positioning is all the difference in the world for him.
Hey, I like poo-pooed him. I like it. I like it. We see Falstad flying up to the top lane to deal with that Sonya, and now a 3-man push down into the bottom lane. Thrall, Gale, and Johanna. Now, there's no healer support here, so the sustain of this lane isn't very high, especially now that they're faced up against a tri-lane with Sylvanas and Monk. This tri-lane in the bottom lane is actually quite deadly. There's no front lane. Oh, we actually missed first blood in the top lane. Mysticles. Looks like he secured the takedown onto Falstad, followed up by the Sonya. Falstad gets punished right there. Quick rotation from Collusion, though, making sure they don't miss any precious soak early on in this match.
Because you missed the kill, don't lump we into that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what? Guilty by association.
Oh, wow. I don't know what to say to that. Back and forth. I mean, 1 kill down, as you said. You mean, Collusion, he does the rotation. He's making sure that we have maximum soak. Rhaegar into the mid. He's not going to be rotating, and for good reason. He can't mount. He gets caught. He has no escape. He can't run nearly as fast as the rest of them. So he had a very comfy home there in the mid. And now, you know, Frozen X is back. They're going to start this seeding, aggressive seeding coming out, though, from Gale eSports. They will, at this rate, actually pick up majority of the small camp seeds. Dark Chimera is a little bit too late to this one. How win, though? He's just going to get body blocked by Dark Chimera.
Yeah, Collusion's coming in here to seal the deal. How Nguyen goes down. Was getting the seeds over here on her side of the map, but unfortunately got a takedown for it, and that's the first takedown right there for King of Blades, 1 for 1 thus far. And we see each team kind of mirroring each other's actions, but look what Tomster kind of hanging out here and being a little bit of a scouting and being a nuisance right here.
Yeah, but Hexo
maybe trying
punches
to
things and heals things.
Pick up some seeds here. He thought about going in there. He popped the Wind Fury to pick some up, but right now he's just being a nuisance more than anything else. But he's delaying. He's making time for his team to finish off the Garden Terror. Falstad. Oh, actually, Falstad was going to fly down south, but got interrupted by the root of the Garden Terror. And now I don't know if King of Blade is going to be able to contest this. No, they're not. Oh, there's the Falstad coming in here now. You got to be careful. Actually, I feel like Gale Force can engage on this. Yes, they will. They punish that. I mean, that seemed a little bit reckless from King of Blades right there. Rhaegar was nowhere to be found. Johanna was nowhere to be found. A little sloppy, but they're going to be able to fall back the lanes and keep this game going and keep it as equal as they can.
So Tomster actually helped them do the terror. He didn't, delay any. As you said, he was a nuisance.
Oh, wow.
He didn't delay that chain lightning. Was actually helping them out. He wasn't able to get any damage because monks punch and heal at the same time because they're cool like that. And that's, as you said, maybe the flight from Frozen X a little bit earlier that might have made the difference, but I didn't like that play whatsoever. Thankfully, Hexo's just gonna die because monks are cool like that. But look at that catch from Ball and Beast.
Beautifully, well timed right there from Talking Trees. Can they secure it though? They're not gonna be able to. Ball and Beast actually looking to turn it around, as Alamo was laying a lot of damage in there. Mystically is also rotating from the mid lane. I think this rotation is a little bit late, though. But the Garden Terror is just doing work right now. Generally, with these early game Garden Terrors, you see him just rotate. Oh, man, Kel'Thas actually got taken out. I was talking about the resident sleeper of the Garden Terror in the mid lane. But generally, what you see with early game Garden Terrors is just apply pressure to the tier 1 towers. You generally don't see forts being taken down, even with a Sylvanas on the side of with them, that pushing prowess. Instead, they're going to do a little split pressure in the bottom lane, try to put pressure on this fort keep, and either make a decision. Are you going to defend bottom, or are you going to allow this Garden Terror to just go completely unfeathered and just take down these structures? And right now, this is a great position. We see level 7 is not too far off for either of these teams. A slight experience lead for Gale Force, but more importantly, they're just doing so well on the structure front. Bottom fort's going to be going down. Mid lane tier 1 towers are down. This is a great time. They're actually initiating on Talking Trees, and I think he's going to go down. That just was a big mistake from Talking Trees. He's not level 16. He's not level 20. Was too far forward, especially because Johanna was in mid lane. Easily punished and cleaned up by Gale Force.
You said, first Terror, you don't see those forts, but I got to kind of counter that with Ball and Beast making some ball and plays there in that bottom lane.
Yeah, he is, man.
The Terror bouncing back and forth has put forth quite a bit of structural damage here as well. No Mule is going to be available at this level 7 because of the Rhaegar. He just doesn't quite get that. Now, Sonya did start off this bottom Giants, and they will actually solidify them. So again, they're going to be keeping King of Blades very busy in that bottom lane, but with no fort. And already 1 Terror. There is a silver lining to this one. King of Blades have 78 seeds compared to the 2. The bigger question is, can they use that to their advantage up in this next seed phase?
So we see both of these teams mirroring each other's actions, and the race to level 10 well in the hands of Gale Force. They are certainly ahead. And that bottom lane, man, is going to be under pressure all the time now with the threat of those mercenary camps going down there, the Bruiser camp being picked up. and tier 2 structures are going to be under siege. And here comes the next night phase in 20 seconds. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to find King of the Blade in a very defensive posture, because they're going to be looking down the barrel of level 10 heroics without them having that themselves. And now the push continues. Ball and Beast again utilizing that Sylvanas pickup, and I really like that they're playing with the Sylvanas very well. They push down to the mid lane, they're falling back, and I think they're just going to wait for level 10, hit level 10, then try to re-engage before King of Blades has it. That looks like exactly what they're doing right now.
Yeah, but King of Blades, well, they need to split bottom very quickly here in order to pick up that guaranteed. Yeah, 93, and Howwin's saying, all right, where are they? Nobody actually really has eyes on anyone except Tomster. Howwin's going to try to take as many as he can, but yeah, he's probably going to pay for that very dearly. He didn't know where they were. It was a safer play not to do it. Decided at the last second to try to delay them, but are they actually going to get away out of this?
Yeah, he might get away. I mean,
Wow.
Kael'thas's damage pre-level 13 isn't the best. I mean, not that it isn't the best, but it isn't
Where did
that big
Frozen X
burst that
go?
you know. And with the block on Sonya, I think the block was able to negate a couple of auto attacks, and now they find themselves getting back. Hao Nguyen hit the fountains back at the fight of this Garden Terror. They have the level 10 heroic advantage for just a small amount of small time.
Wow.
And now look at what King of Blades is doing. They have level 10. There's a Blessed Shield, or a Piercing Bolt, the 7-sided strike going down. The Ancestral Healing barely keeps Collusion alive. There's the Wailing Arrow. Iron Skin's still available once the silence is there. A turnaround, a Summon Arrow. Monk is out of position. He's going to dash away with Mystic Fleece. He's in the front lane. He dwarf tosses himself. Oh no, a little bit short though. He misses the dwarf toss, but not enough damage. They weren't able to find the targets that they needed, and the turnaround from Gale Force was enough right there. A very back and forth exchange right there. Everyone was kind of low. They both kept re-changing their targets, refocusing. But with Hexo being able to get out of that poor situation after the Sundering, after the initiation of that Sundering, they focused Hexo. He dashed out. Mysticles kept himself alive and took the team fight from there. And now they're going to find themselves with yet another Garden Terror. And they actually might be able to deny a Garden Terror from King of Blades. They only need 2 seeds, but I don't think that they'll be able to pick it up here, Sean.
No, well, with Frozen X and that Gust, they should be able to pick up 2 seeds, but
yeah,
it's looking very grim as time goes on. That was the bigger story, and we'll get it back into it after this.
Johanna, the 7-sided strike got a lot of value. No Iron Skin as well. Again, Collusion finds himself in a very similar, familiar situation where he's, even with Johanna, very, very tanky frontline warrior, is just getting completely bossed around. Blessed Shield, Ancestral Healing on point, and a Frozen X. But, I mean, that Ancestral Healing was more of a just keep that guy alive, so we keep Falstad alive so we can get out, not necessarily re-engage. So, no Ancestral Healing for 60 seconds. Both these teams have a Garden Terror, though. So, some Garden Terror on Garden Terror action. They're going to fall back to their mercenary camps before it's picked up and see what the play is right here. Again, that bottom lane is under so much pressure. Frozen X is going to clean it up in timely fashion, though.
All right, so if we go back to the Terrors just for a moment, Frozen X was not part of the kill squad, despite the fact that he had Tailwind and can outrun the Sonya. And she didn't die. We turn back around, we get level 10, we pick up basically the entire bottom seeds, and a whole lot of kills. The Strafe doing immense amounts of work, if you did notice back at that last fight.
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah, it was absolutely huge. So that's big reasons why we got that bottom Terror. Then, after that team fight, nearly denying at the 98 mark a second Terror would have been absolutely huge. The Strafe again just warranting a Gust by itself. And as you said, Terror on Terror action. Unfortunately, Hao Nguyen in the bottom one is just not going to get anything done. Sylvanas is split pushing, so we're getting a better trade regardless. Collusion is just unfortunately not able to make too much happen here either.
Yeah, I mean, Kings of Blades knew that the Garden Terror was going to go in the bottom lane. The Garden Terror, the bottom lane is exposed to their tier 2 towers, but they were quick on their heels to respond to this. And now Hao Nguyen finds itself in a situation where it's not very favorable. I mean, now they can, with only about 20 seconds left and a third of an HP bar left, they might be able to just rotate to the fort, something like that. I felt like their Garden Terror hasn't had much value, but they continue to push down in this bottom lane. Collusion is his. He hasn't been able to get much done either. They did get the tier 1 towers in the bottom lane. Mid lane is still healthy. Top, there's a little bit of the fort has a little health left on it, but I think both of these Garden Terrors, really not much was done. Both teams were able to defend very well. Hao Nguyen gets gravity laps. Now here comes the big push here. Hao Nguyen might turn this around. Pops around the Berserker. The Ancestral Healing a little premature onto the Kael'thas. He was perfectly fine, but trying to anticipate that burst damage. Avatar popped by Mystic Fleece. And right now, with all the heroics already used for Gale Force, I don't know if they can take the pick off of the Falstad, though. That is what was going to give them the team fight to him. Even with that level 13 advantage, I felt like if King of Blades was able to fall back and consolidate hit level 13, they could have potentially turned that team fight around, but weren't able to do so. No Blessed Shield was utilized in that team fight. Sundering was, but it just wasn't very high value. And so Gale Force gets themselves a single pickup, find themselves at a talent advantage, and now they're doing an invasion of the Bruiser camps of King of Blades.
So Sylvanas took towers top. We actually now take a kill mid, the fort there as well. Level 14 to 12 is just getting from bad to worse here for King of Blades, as they're consistently getting outplayed with this comp. Even with no Divine Palm, with that 7-sided strike, I mean, the Monk, they are really clearly trying to focus out Collusion. They're saying, all right, he died so many times last round, maybe he's on tilt, we catch him this time. Collusion by himself this far forward again, that's very dangerous.
The 7-sided strike, Iron Skin is being forced out already. Collusion's got to be careful not to get focused here. Oh man, the chain bomb, the living bomb showing how much damage it can do though. Mystically so very low. The Mighty Gust, I think, actually, yeah, that was a good Mighty Gust actually. I think that if the Gale Force was able to consolidate themselves, they could have re-engaged into that. But both these teams, they got their licks done, but no one going down here, level 13 to level 15. And King of Blades, they need to get themselves on the map. They need to get some pressure onto Gale Force, or else they're going to find themselves at a level 16 Palantir disadvantage. And right now, if looking at the seeds, I mean, Gale Force is almost surely going to be getting themselves a Garden Tear. The big thing is, can King of Blades, A, take a fight before level 16, and B, can they get themselves a Garden Tear here?
Well, with... what, 8? I think they had 8 seeds, and they didn't pick up any of the small camps. Well, actually, they did pick up one small camp, but I still don't think it's enough. 54 and counting. This bottom is not going to be any right for any taking.
Yeah.
Only sitting at 82. They are going to get denied pretty hard. They did have a little bit of silver lining. They did pick up the bottom for it due to mercenary pressure, and they are poised actually to take this top. Some big infusions of experience that are desperately needed for them if they do want to fight into this level 16 team. Unfortunately, though, Hal Wynn is going to be very relentless and apparently needs to pause. But this bottom lane push, I fully expect him to go to keep, and that's going to force a back from this top lane aggression, and the trades will heavily favor Gale Force eSports.
So as far as the as we look at, again, the Battlegrounds Garden of Terror, so this game is going to go late. Unless one of these teams makes a series of massive mistakes. But looking at the late game versus late game potential of both of these drafts, I have to say King of Blades, again, and this is the same situation last game, but they weren't able to find themselves a good foothold post-level 16 and post-level 20. The Falstad with Seasoned Marksman, Gale Thoss, obviously his late game potential is very well known, speaks for itself. I feel like if King of Blades can get themselves into a decent spot, don't give up, I mean, try not to give up any keeps. At most, only give up one keep. Then they can carry that momentum of the late game strength that they have in the Falstad and the Gale Thoss, and Thrall is a late game hero as well. Rhaegar, his healing really doesn't ramp up until level 16 compared to that of a monk. Level 16, Rhaegar's healing is absurdly good. He gets that tidal waves at level 16, and level 13, the healing surge. His chain heals are coming just all the time. He can go rewind or storm shield at level 20. I really like the late game for King of Blades, but it was the same story as I mentioned in game number 2. They have to get there first. They have to make sure they don't give up too much ground, don't give up any more than one keep, and more importantly, they need to keep the experience disadvantage that they're at. At minimum, they need to keep it at this level. They can't let it get out of hand anymore.
All right, so Hal Wynn, as I said, the Death March coming in, and Party Bush potential is actually fairly high. No, they're not going to say anything about that one, and here comes the push. Now, you're going to be seeing Hal Wynn taking the brunt of the most of the damage, and as he puts out flower pot after flower pot. Look at the positioning here. He forces the team to come out in order to do something about it. Now we got the unstoppable done from Collusion. The tower's already down. The wall is already down. Next plan's going to be going for the keep. And we have all ults ready to go. If Collusion goes too much forward too many more times, you're going to see a 7-sided strike on his face.
Oh, man, a big stun on a Collusion. Polymorph as well from the Polymorph, but the Ancestral Healing is there. Iron Skin as well. Mighty Gust to disengage. And now, oh no, the Muradin gets taken out. A beautiful CC chain right there. And all of a sudden, an overextension from Gale Force gets punished. Frozen's got to be careful. 1 or 2 more auto attacks from that Garden Tier could be the death of him. But no, Hal Newman's going to be able to get away here. But still, that was a very good exchange for the Kings of Blade. But Gale Thoss goes down. Now Hal Newman's exposed as well. Collusion's got to be careful. Iron Skin now popped. Got to get himself out of there. Level 16 is now here for King of Blades. And I have to say, that exchange favors them in so many ways. They hit level 16. They didn't give up the keep. They weathered the storm of the Garden Tier. And if they can keep this and make sure that they don't find themselves at a level 20 talent disadvantage come in the next night phase, I think they can really get themselves a good foothold in the late game and take this series and ultimately take this weekend's tournament, man. That was a great engage by them.
You can't say enough about King of Blades right there for that hold, but Talking Trees has got to learn to get into the backline.
Yeah.
How many times has he been too far forward? Like, he literally just got hit, walked up to, and hit again, and he was down for the count. And, you know, by the end of it, sure, I mean, we didn't get the keep. The push there from Gale Force was rebuffed still very, very superiorly. But picking up trash, talking trash must have felt good. Talking trees. Wow, Freudian slip.
It's such a good pun though, because you're unintentionally talking trash, and it was well done, man.
About talking trees, yeah. We do got that 16 now. If you take a quick look at our Falstad, power throw, secret weapon, now hammer time. That little bit of extra stun could make the difference between Sonya living or dying through Whirlwind.
Absolutely, man. So the next the next night phase is going to be in 10 seconds. And even with that advantageous fight that King of Blades had just a couple of minutes ago down in the bottom lane, they actually did lose the keep.
Yeah.
Even with that advantageous fight down in the bottom lane, they still are at a big 1-level disadvantage. So with that, oh no, Hexo's got to be careful. Going to dash out of the no, Sonya's taking a lot of damage. The CC chain is on point. The 7-started strike trying to zone him out, but no, Sonya caught out. A great CC chain, and now it's Sundering to try to re-engage Alomo. The vault's on cooldown. If they can latch onto this Vala, the strafe is doing a lot of damage though. The interrupt's not there, and the guard lapse hits the Murdered instead. Collusion's careful. Oh no, the Ancestral Healing, not a Collusion, and now he gets overextends once again. The Johanna Collusion, he has this characteristic of overextending on the Collusion, and Gale Force has punished it very, very well. But even with Collusion going down here, it's still a 2-for-1 exchange favoring King of Blades. But I feel like if Collusions didn't overextend there and stayed alive, this would be a great moment for them to just completely clean up this map.
Whoa!
Oh no, Dark Chimera, a greedy rotation there, and a great game sense from Gale Force to recognize that was going to happen. They were hanging out in the bush right there, and now all of a sudden that exchange that was favoring King of Blades is now a wash, and the status quo as is absolutely favors Gale Force.
Well, just a little bit under a level advantage going the way of Gale Force eSports. That's going to put them into the 20 slot, and both terrors are going to be ready to go. One has to go through one has to go through at least one set of forts and then walls. The other has pretty much free reign through mid and bottom. Top is like just easy experience if they do need it.
Yep.
And they might actually be, use the terror to get that level 20 just by picking up some of these towers. But you can see the hesitance here from King of Blades. They don't know where their opponents are. Are they picking up a terror? Are they about to gank? Now we know that Hal Wind was picking that up, and now they're kicking themselves in the pants saying that we gave up the rest of these seeds. Is this enough for a back-to-back? Because that could be game right there.
It's going to be pretty close.
80s?
Here, the numbers, nope.
90s?
Just a couple. Oh no!
1 seed difference.
Oh,
One
man.
seed difference.
1 seed difference. Well, I mean that's good for King of Blades, because they're looking down the barrel of level 20 Storm Tier talent disadvantage. Gale Force with this Garden Tear, they got the keep in the bottom lane, and now the next goal is that keep in the mid lane. And I think as long as they play this right, wait for level 20, use that Garden Tear as an advantage right now to allow you to have the time to hit level 20. Then from there, push down the keep. I mean, they have the Sylvanas, so they can slowly siege this all they want with the Sylvanas and with the Vala as well.
Yeah,
and I don't know, and yeah, level 20 is going to be here. And again, the last game we saw a poor decision-making capabilities of King of Blades. They took an unfavorable team fight against a down level 20, and that ultimately is what lost them the game. I think hopefully they learn from their mistake here, and they just have to forfeit this. But a Blessed Shield engagement on the Talking Trees. There's the Welling Arrow as well, but Arcane Barrier has not been used, so Talking Trees still has that defensive option. 7-sided strike going down, getting an okay value, but not the highest value one right there. Exo's taking a lot of damage. Hao Nguyen is just sitting in their front lines, just basically being a tanky Garden Tear. And no one going down for either side. But again, the main objective there for Gale Force was that keep in the mid lane. Now they're sweeping up the top lane. This Garden Tear is going to be expended here in just about 10 seconds. And level 20 is not too far off for Kings of Blade. So if they can hit level 20 and Gale Force overstays their welcome, they could absolutely get wiped out here. They got to be careful that they don't overstay their welcome. They have level 20, but that window is getting narrower and narrower.
Collusion has basically used the entire duration here for the defense, and well, they will be rewarded by keeping a keep. The problem is 99 seeds to 21, and still we have forts and gates, all actually in pristine condition here from Gale Force eSports. It's a heck of a behind situation to be in, but there is hope. Level 20 on both sides means a big fight, a big catch right here could be the end of the game, even for King of Blades.
Oh man, Collusion, the indestructible plus the ancestral healing keeps him alive. Avatar in stone form, popped by Mysticles, so he's healthy, he's getting aggressive. The Mighty Gus, actually the big Mighty Gus, the level 21 is separating Mysticles from the rest of his team, but the focus fire not there as Avatar is very tanky. Oh man, Howlwind's low, as well as the Murd, and both the frontliners go down for King of Blades, as I talked about. King of Blades has the late game advantage right there. This could be the moment that they needed. Now Hexa goes down as well. This is exactly what they needed, but what's the play here? How are they going to capitalize on this, Sean? Are they going to pick up are they going to sweep down there and try to pick up a keep? Are they just going to paint the map red with the mercenary camps? It looks like that's what they're going to do. They don't have a win condition right now. If either bottom or top was down a keep, they might be able to end the game. They're making an aggressive move here. Lamo and Balling Beast, they have to get out of here. If Collusion lands any sort of stun here, they could be going down. The ball to the Stormford, and now Balling Beast is going to be going down as well. That is exactly what King of Blades needed. Very well done by them, despite the fact that they're down 2 keeps and that their core is under siege here. Falstad's cleaning it up. They're going to be looking to get these tier 2 towers, looking to get this keep. 1 or 2 more pickoffs. Are they going to go for the core here, Sean?
Well, I would have. I would have been a heck of a beeline to it. There's still people dead for 20 seconds. No Sylvanas for 34. I don't think they can do it now. They took their time to get over here. Yes, they picked up Sylvanas, and they took these giants, and well, they're going to get apparently a strafe out of it as well. That's a really good pickup for another 50 seconds, but I would have just made immediately a straight beeline for this top in order to get at least 2 keeps, if not core. But again, any fight at this point, it's not the end of the world if King of Blades wipe, they're done. But if they can wipe, they can still win this one. It's still within the realm of possibility.
All right, guys. So it is, but even with that team fight, man, they're still up against the ropes. They only have 1 keep available. More than likely, I mean, there's a good possibility that Gale Force is going to have 2 Garden Tears back-to-back post 20 minutes. The Garden Tear able to disable the core. It's a very, very difficult situation as we see the first Garden Tear, potentially 2, being picked up by Gale Force.
So,
and they could almost just haphazardly push into the core and win the game that way. One mistake, one pick off here for King of Blades will cost them this match.
So, as I said, they might have Gale Force actually might have back-to-back, but there's absolutely no way that that's going to happen. They had 98 seeds. They pick up 2, they immediately get this terror, which will stop the terror, any seeding coming out here from King of Blades. They're actually now throwing down every disengage that they can, because it doesn't matter. Even if you have a defensive terror, if you're rushing down the core, you have the superior map positioning here. I mean, the team's already here. Collusion's just picking it up. This is going to be core damage.
This is a very tense moment right now. I mean, King of Blade, they're going to have to put on
Collusion.
It's going to have to be a spectacular defense right now for the King of Blades. And Gale Force can play this patiently. They have potentially 2 terrors here, man. They could play this patiently. It's very,
Neither team
very
can actually
right
have
now.
another terror, Shane, just so you know.
So they don't?
No, they can't.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, now I see that. Anyway, still, it's a very tense moment. The Garden Tear is almost down for a win, and if Sonya doesn't get back, they can capitalize on this. Karazim, though, actually gets picked off. Oh, no. That's terrible. That's the one pickoff that King of Blades needs right now. No Karazim. No healer support. The push continues. This Garden Tear is still healthy and still has a complete minute. Mysticles has got to be careful. He's turning around, but he walks right into the polymorph. That's not where he needs to go. He's completely by himself. I question this decision. I think maybe he was just trying to zone out for the rest of his team and make sure that they don't get completely teamed wiped. But a whole minute left on this Garden Tear, post 20 minutes. They could just go top lane and potentially in the game. No Murden for a minute, no Karazim for 30 seconds.
Well, Collusion's not going to get a ton of use out of that Terror, and look at this bottom lane push as well. The rest of Gale Force eSports is saying, well, we're going to try to make sure we curb you down. Collusion, Talking Trees, and Dark Chimera could still win this game, but my goodness, was that ever just poorly executed from GFE. They couldn't get a big angle in, and despite not having a Johanna, they still can't actually push in.
Yep.
They're just going to get wind tunneled. Yeah.
Yep.
King of Blades pulled out of the
This
fire.
is going to be King of Blades taking game number 3. I talked about how their late game is so very potent, and if they were able to make it to the late game without giving up too much ground, and they gave up a lot of ground. They only had 1 keep left. They still were able to take this match. They were down pretty much the first 20 minutes of that match. They were constantly behind, constantly at a talent deficit. But the moment they evened the odds with those Storm Tier talents at level 20, they took some decent team fights. They capitalized on some mistakes that Gale Force presented them with, and were able to take the series, take the game, and ultimately takes this week's Divergent series, man. Congratulations to King of Blades. Very well deserved.
So, few things. Strafe was absolutely fantastic.
It's like final word of Jerry Springer.
Can't say enough about Vala right there. I Lamal just yeah, he had me laughing. The defense from King of Blades, it's not that they held better, it's just that it was a poorly executed attack from GFE. They had no Johanna, and instead of trying to just YOLO somebody, Rhaegar for example, who did not have a bolt with the storm. They couldn't, and they didn't, and then Karazim got caught, and it was done right then and there. As soon as that Karazim got caught, it was done. And again, Hexo going 7-star strike into this, I can't say enough against it. I think Palm would have done so much better. There was never actually a case that the 7-sided strike made a difference, at least in my eyes.
I agree. I mean, Collusion did a much better job this game than he did in game number 2. When he was just constantly getting picked off in game number 2, he was more patient. He wasn't as aggressive with his positioning. He stuck with his healer a little bit more. So he adapted well, and he learned from his mistakes in game number 2. Played much better in the late game situation in game number 3. So just well done by them, man. Unfortunately, a series of mistakes by Gale Force. King of Blade able to capitalize on them, and just that's how you win the games, man. You capitalize on mistakes. If you're unable to capitalize mistakes, you're never going to be the strongest team. And this weekend is going to be King of Blades.
So when Sylvanas came out and she was able to defend like 3 lanes without keeps and take no core damage, you're like, wow. But now that Falstad's back into the meta, that wind tunnel, like, as soon as you saw the 3 into the bottom lane not defending core, which is totally the wrong call, because they let the plant tear actually live. Those are some heavy auto attacks on core, plus the repeated casts on his plant. When they tried to do that, all he had to do was just put Frozen X on defense. They get near the core, wind tunnel, done. It's really mind-blowing how Gust went from widely regarded the worst ultimate in the game to now top meta, almost first pick potential. It's very crazy. I'm
just now seeing your face after that game. You are so just.
I was like,
It's like that's the look you get from your dad after you walk in 3 hours past your curfew, and he's just sitting on the couch with the TV on and just. That's what that look was, man. So much disappointment, but you gotta hand it to King of Blades, though, man. They played it well.
We'll just say yes. Congratulations, King of Blades, the winners once more here of the Divergent tournament. Now, of course, we're not Dreadnought, we're not Zoya, we are Forecourt Jester and Shane Gucher, and it's very, very happy to be here. Big thanks to the Divergent crew for getting us into here, and of course, Red Rook, the sponsor, making these things happen. We talked a lot about how we need more of this stuff in the scene. My disappointment aside, initiatives like this grows more teams who can then become celebrities and gives casters like us a little bit of a soapbox. So big props to them and big props to the players. I mean, everyone that came out here, even the guys that got stomped, they came out, they put it on the line, and they got a little bit of competitive experience. Next time, they'll be better for it, and we salute you for making this kind of stuff happen. Keep practicing. Come back better. Learn from your mistakes. That's all we can say about that.
All right, guys. Well, again, go to our social medias. I'm Shane Gucher. I've been casting Heroes of the Storm dating all the way back to Technical Alpha. Before Dunk Train was a professional player, he was a caster. Little tidbit there for you.
Yeah, no, I do remember the ESV League. Yep. Before he was a caster, he was just a guy with a beard playing Diablo to level 10. with a train whistle as well. That was his thing. He had his train whistle.
But hit me up on Twitter at the social medias, twitter.com/Shane Gucher. Check out my Twitch as well, which is Shane Gucher Gaming, and my YouTube. My YouTube is the next thing I'm trying to really get up and running and put a lot of VODs in there. I'm going to be casting pretty much the entire bracket of Heroes Rising now that the replay pack out is stuff like that. So if you like the casting, guys, head over to my social media outlets. Let me know what you think. Let me know, and I appreciate it. I'm very open to constructive criticism, and so please, I'm always looking to improve and looking ways to be a better caster. And thank you very much. Forecourt, where can they find you?
Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, Forecourt Jester, getting back into the scene. I got a few other things there on the go, so if you hit the follow buttons, you will be very much in the know of what's going on. I'm not going to advertise it here, but lots of things going on for my streams, so make sure you hit the buttons. And yeah, I'm a critical guy. I'm going to look at these teams, I'm going to say what I think, and hopefully I'm right. Sometimes I'm not, but I'm definitely very critical about play. So if you like that kind of casting and those opinions, Come on over. I'll entertain you with my gesturisms. That being said, Divergent Gaming will return next week, possibly with a Dreadnought. We will have to see. So hit their buttons as well. Divergent Gaming, I believe, on Twitter. I want to say that they're on Twitter, but at the very least, they will let us know on Reddit, of course, about the next tournament. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for them. Hope you enjoyed, and I believe that is it for us, sir. All right. We will catch you cool cats later. I think I actually have to keep it on a little bit for the delay.